Ladies and gentlemen, today we're coming back to this footage I shot a few days ago, and here's the footage of these sinkholes back behind my house in the woods. Now, before you say this is clickbait and everything, none of this was here when I moved in back in 2003 or 4. It was just woods, it was flat, and like I said, I saw a hole in the ground with water running in it, and I was like, where is that coming from? It must be a spring or something. But this is my backyard, and this is just the standard drainage that's running down the hill through the backyard, just a regular ditch, and that's where it kind of starts. And this is why you want to live at the top of the hill, I guess, because this is a few hundred yards down the hill where it starts to flatten out. You can see they've obviously tried to do something with it, but it's really backing up right there, and that is right where all of these holes are. So over the course of 15-20 years, this is from the footage of 2 or 3 days ago. That's what it looks like now. These are the same holes that I showed at the beginning of the video, full of water. And we've been getting a lot of rain today, so I went out to check it again, and I mean, it's underground like a labyrinth under all of this stuff. So here's just another picture of it from pretty much the same angle as at the beginning of the video. And like I said, this was not here, and this neighborhood was developed. And I mean, I don't want to get ahead of myself or anything, but it looks to me like somebody has diverted this water into the woods, because none of this was like that. And there's a culvert pipe laying out here in the woods. None of it makes sense to me. I want to try to talk to some other people, my neighbors, and see if they know anything about this stuff, because the culvert pipes in their backyard look similar to the ones that are out in the woods, but it doesn't make any sense that they would have put that pipe out there, because it's just laying. I mean, it's completely eroded. I'll get there in a minute, but you can see we're following the stream down here towards where that culvert pipe is laying. And it's just becoming completely sunken in, completely eroded, and all the trees around it are dying. You can see the moss. I mean, it's all the water table must be really mushy and wet, all right underneath the surface in this whole area now. But here's the beginning of that culvert pipe, and it is so eroded around it that the culvert pipe is laying on tree roots that used to be 4 feet underground. But you can see the water, it just disappears under the ground right here, and then goes under a little bridge and comes back out. And at some point somebody tried to put a culvert pipe there. I don't know why. I mean, it's 20 or 30 feet of pipe, and look at it, it's just laying on tree roots that used to be under the ground, and the erosion just continues to dig deeper and deeper underneath this thing. And that stream goes for, I don't know, half a mile or so, and there's a creek down there. I mean, I'm not going to follow it all the way down there, especially today, but this thing has cut a path through this land all the way down to the creek. I mean, it's become a new drainage, basically, of this neighborhood, I guess, and it cut through and eroded this whole forest, and I'm sure it ends up in that creek down there. I mean, it kind of goes downhill to it, it's a drainage now, and it's going to go downhill and end up in a larger creek, which eventually ends up in the Ohio River, I'm pretty sure. But I can't figure out why there's a culvert pipe laying out here in the middle of the woods for 30 feet, and it's just laying on top of tree roots. I mean, whoever tried to do something there, it wasn't a very good attempt. I mean, what's the point in just... If it was coming out of the ground right there and they found it and they were trying, I mean, what's the point in diverting it for 30 feet or whatever? But this area has been a long time settlement. There used to be Indians here and settlers and farmers. So coming up throughout the time, this used to be, I guess, some type of trash area for whoever used to farm this or live here, decades and decades ago. I mean, I found glass bottles and stuff back here that are just really old. I think my uncle was with me one day and we found some, and he thought they were neat, and we kind of collected a few of them just as knick-knack decorations or stuff. But so there's a barrel right there. After that culvert ends, there's a section of this, like, I don't know if that's water line pipe or what, but I didn't go down and grab it, but those are typically like long 30-foot sections too. And if that's in the mud right there or something, that is deep. So I didn't grab that, but it's full of sediment and debris, and it's sticking up out of the ground. I have no idea what that is, but here's another drainage coming from somewhere, and I really don't remember seeing that ever either. So these woods are definitely changing. But here's that hedge apple tree that I showed a few days ago from a distance, and it is completely fallen over. The roots are 3 feet out of the ground, and it must just be sitting on a complete swamp underneath it. I mean, this is how close it is to that new stream that's coming out of the ground, out of nowhere. And this tree is completely exposed and fallen over, and it looks like the middle of it is full of rot to me. I mean, I don't know why else it would just fall over like that, unless the roots are drowning and it's sitting in the water table and just fell over because it's in mud now. But here's another tree that's just a few feet away from it, and it's broken off, pretty good section of it, so it might be full of rot too. I don't know why else these trees would all be breaking off like that. And I just took a couple pictures of a few other trees. This is the back of a cedar tree. Looks really weird. You have to see that in person, but that's some really weird looking wood on the back of that. Bulldozer or something may have done that. And then talk about identifying trees. Look at this. I mean, you look at the bottom of this and you would think it's probably an oak tree or something. And I'm not an arborist, so I would love to be able to identify trees. But then as you move up, look at how the bark starts flaking off. I mean, now you're thinking it looks almost like a shell bark hickory or a shag bark hickory a little bit. So it's really difficult to tell, and I'm always trying to look and learn about trees, but it's very difficult. Well, anyways, guys and girls, I'm going to wrap this up soon, but this is kind of a scary situation. I mean, I thought about it ever since I saw that water running under the ground through a little hole about the size of a tennis ball. I've been thinking about it because my house is, pretty close to this, and somewhere is an underwater vein, and this is Kentucky, so there's all kinds of limestone. Mammoth Cave is around here. And also, if you haven't heard, the National Corvette Museum, which is about 60 miles down Interstate 65, it collapsed in a massive sinkhole, and they lost some Corvettes and things. So anyways, hopefully that's not going to happen here, and hopefully the water found an exit through this new drainage, and it's just going to go down through these woods and into the Ohio River ultimately. But underneath the ground around here, there is definitely a spring, and there's something going on. Thanks for watching.